Okay, welcome back to Great Area. Today I'm really happy to have Disfreq with me. Thank you for joining me, guys. How are you feeling today? How are you doing?
Good. Lauren's just had a studio session, and we're back Sunday evening. Know yourself, take it easy.
Good. No, I know it's good to have you guys with me. So what this interview will be kind of more focused on is it's kind of like the origin stories of how you guys have got going. I know you're brothers, so that'll be interesting as well to kind of see how music started with you two guys. So I think to start off with, how did things start between you guys musically?
I suppose we started, what was 10 years ago? Close to 10 years ago we started. Obviously we were crazy into dance music, and Danny heard show every Friday and all the rest. Massive, really loved anything about the trance, techno, just anything at all. We just fucking loved it. And then we were like, right, how can we actually make tunes ourselves? And I think Cahir actually downloaded the DAW, so FL, and we just, of course, we were lost for the first few years, and lost for a good few years actually.
Making a lot of bad music,
some bad tunes, and skipped through a lot of genres. I think we've done them all nearly. Close to them. We've done a lot of genres like trance, dubstep, into everything, and even progressive house, like Eric Pride's vibe stuff, with other aliases, and we've had a few aliases actually. And over lockdown
kind of started to freak out.
It was with the lockdown that it actually things properly started getting going. Right, okay.
We actually had time to go at it like full time. We're not thinking there's like nothing else to do. And we were living in a house, but just us two. And basically we had the laptop and speakers hooked up in the living room. And it was just like a matter of, getting up, eating, going picking tunes, and then you might stop to eat again. And then you might
that's a good routine to have, I think, when you're trying to be it sounds good.
We were actually we were living it, like we were just living and breathing it, like we were just making tunes and having parties. We stopped. Of course, only we followed the restrictions.
And what about when you guys were, and so when you guys were kids, like growing up, were you always into electronic music, dance music, or were you into a different kind of mix of genres growing up? Like, did you always listen to this kind of music as kids, or?
I'd say we're both always in this as well.
I was always into it. I was into the Arctic Monkeys and stuff as well, like Paul Nutini, and of course acoustic music, and then but electronic music was always first.
Like kind of love, like it was
so
that's very cool.
I was always
also like so as kids growing up, I mean, you were saying you've always been into electronic music, dance music for pretty much all of your lives, but do you remember, did you have like a circle of friends that all listened to the same music, or did you find that your friends listened to quite different music than you? What did you find when it came to your friends' music?
It's definitely different music to me. I mean, they don't hate like country techno, but they can listen to America, but they would not.
No, there's only really, I'd say there's a couple of my mates would listen to it, like, but I'd say Danny would definitely. I think you might love it more.
But I like, there wouldn't be like a big circle of us. It's kind of only really.
Where we live, it's in Donegal. Like it's a bit far north. I mean, there's the next techno big artist, I'd say, like Rebuke, who he lives in Letterkenny. Like he's about 45 minutes away. But there's not a huge techno scene in Donegal. Like it's a wee bit further south, and even across in England and the UK and Belfast as well. We're close to Belfast, which is good. So definitely a different kind of a zone we're in up here.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Belfast then. So would you say, so that's your closest city when it comes to, if you guys were to go out clubbing and stuff, is that your go-to place, or?
Derry and Belfast.
Derry as well, right?
How
So Derry and Belfast, how do they compare? How does the electronic music scene and the clubbing scene in Derry and Belfast compare to other cities in the UK, like London, for example, Manchester? I don't know if you've got
Belfast.
Yeah.
Belfast has actually got a massive scene at the moment, with all these artists like Shine do events. I don't know if you've seen, ever since they've been allowed to open up, they've been doing they've had all the biggest acts you can think of, like Fatboy Slim, Elvis Patrick, like Pat Toppin did a Trick event in Belfast. Like it's just there's a big scene there like with that.
You're a mall grab,
I was a mall grab. Mall grab, Dream and Hamo, Floor Plan. Like they have a massive scene there, to be honest. Like, but it's all Shine really, Belsonic. Like really pulling the strings there. AVA as well. This is class.
Aye.
Oh, of course, yeah, AVA, yeah, massive. Yeah, I've always wanted to say
that. So like Belfast, definitely, there's no comparison like between that and anywhere else, like
on the island, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, actually, now that you mention it, AVA especially, and everything else that you mentioned as well, it's definitely a place that I think. I mean, Derry as well, particularly Belfast. Now that you mention it, definitely a place that I think all big electronic music fans should visit. I haven't had the chance, sadly. I would love to come out.
Sure, we'll get you over for your show.
Yeah, I'd love to. So what do I want to ask you about next? So I suppose it's quite a broad question, but growing up, it's quite hard to narrow down things like this. But when it comes to what you think has influenced your music the most growing up, would you say it's more about kind of your environment, like where you grew up, like the place where you grew up? Do you think it's more about your family, more about your friends? Or do you think it's kind of a combination of all of those things? Like what impacted your music most growing up?
I'd say it's a combination of everything, really. I'd say the main one for us was getting involved with hardware. Our biggest influence for Disfreq was just hardware. Like we very rarely look near software. It's just all hardware since. I think that definitely for Disfreq was the most influential thing for Disfreq. Yeah. On a broader scale, I'd say just listening to Radio 1 all the time and digging deep into YouTube and SoundCloud. And we used to work in the factory and we used to listen to music all day long. Cahir, you were the same. Right. Used to work in the factory all day long with the earphones in, listen to SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, just all day, like Radio 1.
To be honest, like I wouldn't, you're probably the same, like I can only speak myself, but like I wouldn't be interested in much else. And that's probably very narrow-minded, like I know, but like that's the only thing that really like that I can fully like focus on and be interested in. Everything else is kind of like, this is like,
myself. Like
that sounds very narrow, like I know it's narrow, but it's like I just
blinders, like
that is really cool to hear, actually, to get that kind of insight. And I can definitely relate to what you're saying when you're talking about, it just helps you get through the working day, doesn't it, to have that constant stream of like SoundCloud mixes or whatever it is, live performances on YouTube, just kind of getting you moving forward through the day.
Exactly.
And stuff. Yeah, that's really cool to hear. And so next thing, so was there a particular kind of turning point in your life where you guys decided to start taking music more seriously? I know you said you kind of properly started getting going over lockdown, but was there a particular moment? Can you think of a particular moment where you were both like, we should start, making music in a more serious way?
I think for me, I don't know, I think we both maybe at different insights on this, but whenever I seen all my friends drop to Creamfields, Patrick Toppin, I was like,
aye. That was a mad.
That was big for us. Like I'm getting shivers thinking about that. And I'd say definitely that was for me,
because I didn't even know. We didn't know he was gonna play it, and then I seen he posted on Instagram the video, and I was like, someone rang me. I was like,
oh, and like before Disfreq of all our projects, this and stuff like that, so it was really hard to get anyone to play our music. Anyone listen. It was like. We sent so many. We sent thousands of demos to labels, like, and if you got to listen, you were buzzed. Like, you know, I mean, at least they seen the email. It's like, oh, they seen the email. Someone's gonna come with this. This is it. This is it. You know, I was like, this is it for 10 years and nothing happened, and then all of a sudden.
If you didn't love it, you would have split. Like,
it was just about keep going. Like, there was so many kicks on the backside. Would you say? And then all of a sudden, that Creamfields video was. I was like, oh, that's mad.
You know, that must have been crazy. I can imagine. Yeah, because I remember seeing on your social media actually when you were posting about it. That must be.
We kept posting.
Yeah, I think anyone would. Right? I mean, I'd still be posting now.
We couldn't get enough of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Is that being like one of those big moments where you're like, wow, yeah, we should start taking this more seriously. Cool.
I was on my way to work actually, and I just seen it. And I was like,
yeah. So I wanted to ask you as well. You mentioned, so of course we're talking about Patrick Topping here. So your EP, All My Friends, which dropped earlier this year. Amazing EP. I wanted to ask you though. So it came through. Trick, which is Patrick Topping's label, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what's it like working with Patrick? I mean, obviously he's a mega artist. What's he like on a kind of personal level? What's it like working with him? How did you guys meet?
It's just like he's a great guy. Like, that's kind of how I can put it. Like, he's really personal with the artist, as artist as well. It's just like, gets back to you fast. You send him a tune, he loves it. He doesn't. It's just very simple. Like, it's a simple. Whenever you're connecting with him, like, it's just so easy. You know what I mean?
It's a very one matters who you are. It's all going to be you. Yes, like it doesn't. Like, he doesn't care about your following.
It's like, I asked
anything else. Like, if he likes the music, he's game. Like,
that's pretty lovely. Like, we had. It's not to say we don't have much followers now. Like, but whenever we sent them first, I think we sent like 10 or 12 tracks to the Trick demo email, and Morgan got back. So we had no following, no evidence. So we just released a few tunes by ourselves via Disfreq, and then they're getting back to us. So I definitely with Trick. That's why it's class. Trick's class, because if the music's good, it'll get on Trick. It's not about like, oh, I've 3 million followers and I played this and I played that and I have a massive release for this, massive release for them. It's just about, if you have a good tune and they like it, you'll get on Trick. Like, that's what it's like. That's what it is, you know. And that's why it's good. That's why it's succeeding.
That is cool. I mean, I always imagined, like, based on his face and based on his interviews, he seems like such a down to earth guy as well. But it is good to see that at the end of the day, I mean, his focus, like so many great artists, is the quality of the music. So it's really interesting to get that kind of insight into what it's like to work as well. Next question. So speaking of the EP, would you say that the release of the EP was your first big achievement in music, according to you guys, or would it be something else? What would you say?
Well, there's personal achievements as well. Like, I mean, in the past we've had a few personal achievements, which weren't big achievements, getting signed to certain other labels, which were kind of some stature. Like, but the music just was like, it was good. It didn't sound bad. It just didn't
resonate with
people. Like, we thought class, oh, banging tune, and then it just gets released, and it's like, there you go again. Yeah, so that's kind of where that was at. I can't drift it off, not question about it.
No, I mean, yeah, that makes sense, actually. You know, it's a mix of both personal achievements as well as, like, and I think it's important as well, like, I think it's important going forward as well to do what you guys are doing, and remember that it's not all about the bigger achievements, you know, the big releases. It's also about little personal achievements that are going to mean a lot to you guys as well. So yeah, I think it's important to remember both sides.
Well, it's definitely the All My Friends EP was our biggest achievement so far. But there's no comparison, but there's definitely two different things to look at. Definitely, the biggest achievements so far.
Yeah, very, very cool. What about so looking ahead for you guys? Is there anywhere in particular you would like to play in the future? And I'm talking both in terms of, like, maybe club venues, but also festivals. Do you have any aspirations for where you'd like to play in the future?
Definitely. I'd say one of the top ones for us would be Trick. Trick would be for us a big event, Creamfields.
I'd like to play. I'd like to play any events or day as well. I think that because it's kind of close to home. It's kind of like more personal for us. Like
I think Printworks London is definitely another one I'd like to play. Looks class. So there's definitely a few there. But it's all work in progress. We'll get there. We're working away.
Yeah, definitely. There's some big ones there for sure. No, that is exciting to hear.
In for the stars.
No, you've got to, and I'm sure you guys will get there eventually. I only went to Printworks for the first time a few weeks back, actually, and yeah, it's even crazier in person, which is I didn't even think that was possible based on the videos, but it's insane, isn't it? So so yeah, that's really cool to hear from both of you. What I wanted to ask now is we're going to move on to something that is something that's a bit of fun. It's our speed round section of these interviews, where basically I'm going to ask you a list of kind of different questions, some of which will be connected to music, some of which might be a little bit more silly, a bit more random. And I'd just like you both to kind of not really give them much thought and just kind of say what
right.
We discussed this earlier on, didn't we? I think it might be interesting, considering the fact that you're brothers, to hear you both answer each of the questions, just to see if there's any disagreements. So yeah, let's get started. Just to start off with, Carl Cox or Solomon? Carl Cox, okay. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea, okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Good. Same. Okay, so do you have a guilty pleasure TV show? Or guilty pleasure music, actually, might be a nicer one.
Music. Hardstyle.
Okay.
For me, it's hardstyle. Hardstyle, definitely.
Nah.
I'm talking Headhunters hardstyle, you know. Melbourne Bounce.
What did you say? Sorry, what was your one?
Melbourne Bounce.
Okay.
Definitely guilty.
Okay, next one. So if you guys could only save 2 pieces of gear from your studio, what would you choose? 2 pieces of gear.
Behringer Wasp and the TD3 for me.
I'd probably say the 909 drum machine, and I'd probably say the Behringer Wasp as well.
Okay, very cool. Intimate club or festival?
I can't turn down a festival.
Okay, cool. I'm liking the fact there's more disagreements here than I was expecting. This is good.
I can do the festival, I can do the club.
There you go. Least favorite condiment to like sauces and stuff. Least favorite condiment.
Mayonnaise.
Red sauce.
Red sauce. So next one, games consoles. PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo?
PlayStation.
PlayStation as well. Yeah.
PlayStation.
Nice.
Beer or cider?
Beer.
And the last one, would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every single song you hear for the rest of your life?
Dance.
I can sing.
I'm the same all of it.
There you go. Another double act in another way. There you go. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for that. So before you head off, is there anything you'd like to share with viewers today about what's next for you guys? What's next for Disfreq in the future?
We just got our next Trick EP wrapped up. I think that's coming out in hopefully March. We have one coming out on the Trick various artist compilation. That's coming out within the next month or so, or something around that, month or two. We just signed another track as well from another big label, so we're making music every day. There's going to be a lot of Disfreq music in 2022, I'd say. Loads.
Exciting. Good.
Might like one or two.
You might like one. Love them to hit them.
Good. Well, it promises to be a big year for you guys. And yeah, thank you again for joining me today. I will let you go.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank you very much.
Definitely.